Welcome to the Nevis Newscast for Monday, April 30th, 2018. I'm Donis Wilkinson-Keynes. Premier the Honorable Mark Brantley announced a number of new appointments in the public service today, Monday, April 30th. The announcements were made as part of the opening remarks by the Premier as he hosted his monthly press conference at the NIA's Cabinet Room at the Social Security Building at Peenies.
Mr. Edson Elliott, who I believe is here, has been appointed as Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Human Resources. Mr. Edson Elliott, as we all know, was hitherto at the high school, the Charlestown Secondary School, for a very long time. Had a very, very good run there, a very successful run. And he has spent quite a significant amount of time managing people. And we thought, when we looked across the landscape, that he was the best person to fill this particular position, and I'm pleased to announce that the Public Service Commission has accepted his appointment and that he should take up the role as of May 1st, I believe. So congratulations, Mr. Elliott.
Edson Elliott will replace Ornette Herbert.
But Ms. Ornette Herbert is headed into well-deserved retirement. She has been working long and hard for a very long time, and she has decided to retire. I want to publicly thank Ms. Herbert for her service over the years. She has really, in my view, tried extremely hard to inject professionalism into the service. She's a stickler for the rules. We commend again Ms. Herbert for her tremendous service to the people of Nevis and to the Nevis Island administration, and wish her well as she now transitions into a different phase of her life.
In related news, Premier the Honorable Mark Brantley, the Minister of Human Resources, today also noted that the Nevis Island administration continues to invest in the island's human infrastructure in healthcare.
I'm very, very pleased to announce today that we have now onboarded a psychiatrist. And many who have said that we have not paid sufficient attention to mental health. In the past, we would have used a part-time psychiatrist who would have come to us on occasions, but not regularly being available to us. Well, we've now changed that, and we now have a full-time psychiatrist. I'm told the person should have started today.
The new psychiatrist is Dr. Sheldon Noble. Premier Brantley, the substantive Minister of Health, also had this to say.
We've also today, I'm told, have a public health administrator starting and an environmental health officer. And this environmental health officer, I gather, is from Dominica, was a qualified individual who had applied and who was affected clearly adversely by the storms. And so we are pleased that we were not only able to provide some relief, but clearly getting somebody qualified as well to assist us with environmental health. So again, I just wanted to congratulate our Minister Hazel Brandy Williams, our Permanent Secretary Nicole Stack-Libert, and the entire team for their continued efforts in that regard.
The new environmental health officer is Risa Paul. Enhancing character and community with traditional values. That is the theme under which the Department of Community Development will celebrate Community Development Month in May.
Community Development Month is to highlight the successes that the department would have had over the years. I mean, as of last year, May 2017, to the present, and also to enhance social cohesion and to involve the communities in the activities that we would have planned for the month. This year's theme is enhancing character and community with traditional values. When we look at what is happening of late in our Nevian community, we would have had some crime, violence, robberies, not to talk about the negatives because there are also good things about the community, and certain new developments that we would refer to as antisocial behavior. And so we want to refocus on the traditional values that once reigned throughout the Nevian community, and to see if the young people being knowledgeable about that or be reminded of these values, that it will create some meaningful change.
Activities for Community Development Month commenced on Sunday, April 29th with worship at the Fountain Methodist Church and will continue tomorrow, Tuesday, May 1st.
We have a session rooted in history that which be done by Leonard Stapleton, and the rooted in history is to to just remind us of where we came from, how far Nevis has come from a long way, and also of the values that once govern our society. The first one will take place, well, we had one in St. Paul's 2 weeks ago, and so the following one will be done at the Jessup Community Center at 6 p.m. The 1st of May. And then following that, we go over to the St. James's Franklin Brown Community Center on the 9th of May. And then to the Alberta Payne Community Center at Bath Village on the 17th. And then to end it, we will go to the Pond Hill Community Center on the 29th of May.
Other activities for Community Development Month include a panel discussion on Vaughan Radio on May 8th, a jumble sale on May 18th, Community Development Day and a gospel dance and song competition on May 25th, as well as a series of community center open days throughout the month of May. Still to come?
And in saying that, I'm asking everybody to get themselves in a state of readiness.
We'll give you the details after this break.
Festival again, festival again, festival again, festival again, festival again, festival again, festival again. The Caribbean's greatest summer line, yeah, it's country around the time. 44 is the hair, I know you love it here. Troops and festivities, we love the Caribbean. But all night, no time to sleep, emancipate with we. Best food and folklore, culture on the 44. Best food and folklore, welcome to our island shore. Best food and folklore, entertainment to die for. Best food and folklore, culture on the 44.
Welcome back. The Nevis Disaster Management Committee is on the right track in terms of its preparation for the 2018 Atlantic hurricane season. That is according to Minister responsible for disaster management, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers.
There have been training had by most of the staff members there and also the director as well, Mr. Brian Dyer. And training is important, and every time there is some need for training, we'll certainly capitalize on that and ensure that persons are equipped accordingly. So I want to say to the general public, based on all of the information that we have been receiving, is that this year is expected to be another challenging year. We're hoping that it doesn't turn out that way, but that is what the pundits are saying. And in saying that, I'm asking everybody to get themselves in a state of readiness. We have done a lot of things on Nevis to improve our infrastructure, of course. But as you realize in Dominica, in Barbuda, in the British Virgin Islands, and you know, to some extent here in Nevis as well, no matter what you do, sometimes these storms are much more powerful than you expect, and they do a significant amount of damages that sometimes you can't mitigate against. But I'm asking persons to get themselves in a state of readiness.
As noted by Minister Jeffers, the Nevis Disaster Management Committee, which held its first meeting for the year on April 10th, is in need of volunteers.
As the minister responsible, of course, I am the chairman of that particular committee, and we continue to solicit the support of the general public here in Nevis. We are in need of volunteers. We are in need of persons who are willing to sacrifice time and energy. Since we cannot predict the future and we cannot predict what the year holds, we have to prepare accordingly. And that is why it is important for us to get our house in order early, so that if something were to happen later this year in terms of a hurricane, we are as prepared as we can be. We have had our meetings, and of course we have had reports from the previous hurricane season as to the challenges that were encountered, and of course what plans are there moving forward as well. So I want to encourage all those who have essential roles to play in this particular area to take your role seriously, and indeed once you have taken on such responsibility, the entire island depends upon you to do worthwhile job.
Minister responsible for disaster management, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. Meantime, the Nevis Disaster Management Department is preparing to take part in the first phase of Tradewinds 2018, which will take place from June 4th to 12th in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Tradewinds, for those persons who don't know, is a joint military operations that involves the U.S., the French, British, Canadian militaries, along with the militaries from across the region. There are over 20 partner nations that usually take part, along with many organizations throughout the region and internationally. It is done as a means to enhance the capacity in the region with regards to security operations, and also to prepare the disaster management officials with regards to enhancing their procedures and training in preparation for any impact of any hazards.
Director of the Nevis Disaster Management Department, Brian Dyer.
For us here in St. Kitts Nevis, we can expect some training activities, and those persons in the emergency response and volunteers will be tested as well. Our EOC operations will be activated, so we expect all persons who have a role to play in the disaster management framework is expected to be a part of the EOC training and EOC operations when those activities become available or executed on the 7th and 8th of June.
Dyer is inviting volunteers to be involved in Tradewinds 2018.
We have one exercise that would require search and rescue on Nevis Peak. So we are asking for volunteers who want to participate in this exercise to identify yourselves, come on board, because we want everyone to be trained, we want everyone to be fit, and we want everyone to learn from the experience of working with foreign nationals as well. The other exercise would be a ferry incident. We want to test our disaster plan with regards to ferry operations. So it's important that we have the relevant persons in place as well. We need volunteers who will be able to go out to sea and to also to simulate various injuries to test our medical fraternity. So yes, we do need volunteers, we do need your assistance, and we appreciate those who have come forward already.
Volunteers who wish to participate in Tradewinds 2018 should contact the Nevis Disaster Management Department at 469-1423 or 668-6401. Phase 2 of Tradewinds 2018 will take place in the Bahamas from June 30th to 26th. That's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, thank you for viewing.